Hey everybody, it's Tafony here once again, and today's Rambling About is going to be on the 100 Grit by Schlappi Engineering. It is a filter, VCA, crazy distortion. It is mono, it has two inputs, it has a VCA out and a distortion out, and yeah, it is a beast. It is a lot of fun, it is very performative, it is all of that fun stuff. I'm gonna show you both using it as like a traditional ladder filter and as a distortion and everything in between. The quick disclaimer first, I'm not affiliated with Schlappi in any way. This is my own series, my own modules, my own purchase from our local seller. And with all that out of the way, it sounds like this. Grit, when I first got it, I was new to Eurorack and I was expecting a distortion module exclusively. But 100 Grit is sort of its own thing, and by that I mean like it is a very capable, proper filter, and it can be disgusting, it can be tasty, to use some scientific terms, it can be nasty and a controlled way, and it's very performative. I saw a lot of videos with this one, like when I was looking at it, and I thought, oh, that's so disgusting, and I really want it for that reason, and it can totally get that way. But what I want to show in this video is that it is like a completely valid VCA and filter. And then we'll show how great of a distortion it is as well, hopefully. But I do want to just impart right off the bat that like it's an awesome filter, and it is not disgusting. Well, it can be disgusting, but like don't overlook it. Don't, if you're really into clean stuff, you don't like the nastiness like I do, don't overlook the 100 Grit. It is totally valid, totally something worth checking out. So with that being said, I like sending my whole mix to it in my small portable, quote unquote portable, my IntelliJ palette, which isn't what you're looking at right now. I like sending the whole drum and synth mix through it to do some filtering and distortion and all of that jazz. So I want to show that first, and let's go over the panel while we do that. So I'm going to bring in some of our 100 Grit. Now the cutoff is all the way down, so this is going to be like completely quiet, but inputs 1 and 2, there's control over input 1 and 2 on these knobs here, so you can do a little bit of mixing on board, very appreciated. There is an attenuator for the FM1 input. There is attenuators for these two CV inputs. There is two FM1 sources, which are summed into the cutoff frequency, which is very handy if you want to have both. There is a input to control the gain level over CV as well as the resonance if you want to modulate that. And then there's two different outputs. There is the main output, which is the VCA, and then another which is the distortion. So yeah, we're going to start with the VCA at least. And this is what that sounds like. So let's bring in my Moogs. So yeah, I'm only using input 1, and we're going to want to probably attenuate that a little bit just because it gets so crazy so quick. So my gain is on absolutely full. We're going to want to bring that back. So let's bring in my cutoff. So right now just a lot of resonance, so it's going to be kind of crazy, but just some filter sweeping just to hear how it sounds like under the VCA. No modulation, no nothing. Already quite nasty, but if we crank it up, that's a big gain boost. We're gonna swing our cutoff again. And one thing I also want to point out right out of the bat, because there's going to be combinations of distortions here. There's lots of gain staging to be done here. Consider that, like, there's your input attenuator here. So I can already boost the crap out of it on the way in, and then on the way out as well. And consider how that's going to change how things sound. So it'll also feed back onto itself. But let's bring down some gain. Right now I'm like self-oscillating because the cutoff's like, there's lots of gain and a fair bit of resonance, and this thing just goes crazy. But if we want clean sounds, I'm gonna change my mix up a little bit so you can hear that it's everything, not just a synthesizer. So let's bring down our synths. You can hear more drums. Filter sweep again. Yeah. I will say that this thing, the resonance goes insane for crazy stuff like that. But I think you gotta kind of be careful with the resonance on this one, and that's coming from me. So if you like your stuff really clean, then really be careful with that resonance knob, because it self-oscillates very quickly. But yeah, I love the tone of this filter itself. Like, if we won't go crazy yet, and I promise I will go crazy. If we just try and do a clean tone, resonance way down. Yeah, it's just a great filter to my ears. Now, if we do the same thing in the distortion output, there's no VCA, so it's going to be so loud. I'm sorry. I really want to bring that down, but consider how all of that extra gain is going to affect your patch. Now, in the distortion output is just nastier overall, because it's all distortion. So you really gotta be extra careful. But sometimes I want this. And probably not the one you want with your end of chain mix, I'd say, but if we bring this just in the synth voice, distortion mode, your low end, it gets pretty farty. Like, if we go back to our VCA mode, it's just a lot more manageable, I'd say. So yeah, while we're here, let's try and do some stuff here with our modulating of cutoff. So I go in channel 1 of my joystick, and now I am attenuating this off, so let's bring it up. Let's do a little modulation of our cutoff. Let that attenuator way up. And then I'll take my Y output of this one just while we have it. If I go into the gain input, I can use some VCA actions, so you would not really have a big long envelope like I have coming out of this channel, but I just want to show you a little bit of how that looks. Try some of that resonance. Looks like under that much modulation, it's like almost sounds like a record scratch, right? Just chaos. Okay, so let's get back over to the distortion output for funds. Okay, so we can use the VCA mode in that one too, I think. No. So what I'm doing right now actually is like using a VCA by like low pass gating it by the cutoffs just closing, so yeah, interesting. This isn't an oscillator, that's a full voice going into it too, so there's like extra chaos, right? Let's send the whole mix there. Some drums. I love how that sounds. Heavy modulation too, just and then if you turn up the input too that's not patched, it just does like this feedback thing. It's crazy. I love it. Let's go back to our VCA mode, our main output. I think, yeah, you gotta keep the filter moving though, I'd say. So we're gonna do just that. Not that much resonance though. Some big crushiness. Alright, and then we got a huge gain boost. Now, this doesn't work in the... God, this gets loud. If you're in the main output mode, you don't get this gain boost, but this one, let's say 100 times gain boost. Turn that on. Oh, that was on the whole time. Okay. Off. On. Yeah, okay. Yeah, VCA mode, it doesn't change. If we switch over to distortion out, though, it does. So go to turn it on. I haven't done a good job of showing how clean it can get. Because it's so fun to just go nasty. It sounds so good to my ears. That might not be your thing, but it is definitely mine. And then, like I said, I really like the extra craziness if we do both frequency modulations. I'm gonna record something. Just brick walling it. I love it. Okay, go back into VCA mode for less craziness. Bring in some more reverb just for fun. Okay, and while it's doing its own chaos thing in the corner, I wanted to show you what probably was the most striking thing about this whole video, or the striking thing about this module, was the touch points, and I will go through them as follows. Let's just mute this for a second. So, in order of appearance, there is the left set top is distortion 2 out, gain CV, resonance CV. Distortion 2 amp pin. I don't know what the pin part means. And then the right side, there's distortion 1 amp pin, frequency CV, gain CV, and distortion 1 out. And to be honest with you, I have never actually looked at that until now, because what usually I do is this. Just mess with it. I'm trying not to block the module. Oh, you know, my sequencer has died. And what we're hearing right now is just self-oscillating. Sweet. So yeah, no sequence coming out of it right now, just straight in. Oh, you know what? I can charge my sequencer while we're talking. I love my Oxy one, but man, it dies quick. Yeah, lots of self-oscillation madness to be had on board. So bring in. So yeah, no input right now, we're just feeding back. If I go into the distortion mode, I think this will be even crazier. Yeah. There's lots of guides in the manual on noise patches for this one, so just went over the touch points. One thing they said is that you can patch while tweaking the cutoff. Let's hear it again. Sequence going in now. If you heard my other videos, I was talking about, like, I love distortions that, like, mangle the envelope too. Like, it's one thing, you can get as nasty as you wanted, right? But for me, when you start getting in some of those, like, snappy envelopes and, like, choking it, like, I love that. Anyway, back to chaos with the last touch points. our VCA mode. Just doing the drums for this, actually. End of chain, I don't know. It's very nice, but when I'm doing this, and then see, I'm bringing in the empty input, which I believe is a feedback loop, when it's not patched, and we're getting crazy again. Bring in the second source of frequency modulation. Sorry, I'm having too much fun. Back into the distortion output. Touch points. Oh, it's just so performative. Alright, and then I think I would be remiss to not do what I intended to do in the very beginning, which was just running an oscillator through this. So, if we take the output of Castor and Pollux, which is a oscillator I love. I mean, the wave folding, I guess? The distorting of it, that it just makes it sound really harmonic. I love that. Yeah, okay, let's get over the VCA mode, maybe just a little tamer. Now, I do have some reverb on here, bear in mind. But sorry, I'm like a little kid here. No distortion, no going mangling, no going crazy. But it's so hard not to when it sounds so good to my ears anyway. So let's get clean though, let's go. And then in VCA mode, this controls the poles. Do filter sweep. And back. And then let's send it a sequence. Yeah, I'm not sending an envelope or anything right now, but we can make a little envelope with our joystick. So let's go into channel 2, and I will do patching into the game. Yeah. There you go, worlds. If I do my Y input, so yeah, I mean, it's hard in these demos. I'm always wanting to like you can do frickin' everything, right? Like, I just want to give you an idea of how it sounds and let you think about how you could use it yourself, right? So right now I'm gonna modulate on the Y-axis as my cutoff. and the x-axis is my gain. So if I'm using a VCA, we'll just go x-axis. Let's make our sequence a little slower so I can manage it a little better. Feedback loop. I love how Castor Bullock sounds too. Sorry, getting distracted. Yeah, 100 grit, I love it. I mean, this is my only analog filter now, I think. If you just want something that's like, if you're trying to build out a groove box like I'm always sort of trying to do, like, I think this is the kind of fun filter that makes Eurorack like really worth it to me. But you might find this is way too ridiculous for your taste, and I totally respect that too. If you want to like do the super fat or clean or like emulate some sort of classic synthesizer in your Eurorack, this might not be what you're after, but for me, I absolutely love this filter, and I can't say enough good things about it. All right, I'm Tafony. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, and I will talk to you soon.